Cruising with AB. Man, I must be really bored or something. Driving around town all day. Well, talk about fishing. Everybody likes fishing, right? Not everybody, but I do. Or did anyway. And as a kid, I remember going to the park with my dad, and we would catch a little perch. And, I guess that's one of my first memories in fishing with my grandmother. She would take me out to this place called Woodlawn Lake. Like right almost in the middle of the city. But we catch catfish and stuff. And then as I got older, I think my dad took me out fishing one time. He had a Lone Star aluminum boat. And my only memory of fishing on that was we're down in the bays, down in, I guess it's the Gulf of America now. And we were flounder fishing, or gigging for flounder. A spear on the end of a stick. And I just remember it being nighttime, and they had a headlight off an old Chevrolet pickup truck on a 2x2 piece of wood connected to a battery, and that's what they used to gig these flounder, or at least to light up the water. I remember that night they, I guess, accidentally gigged a stingray instead of a flounder, and they brought that to the boat, and I kind of remember freaking out about that. But anyway, I didn't fish after that for a long time. My dad, he took me hunting a lot. But we didn't fish, for whatever reason, we didn't fish that much. And it wasn't until I was already in graduating high school, he got back into fishing and would go and fish these crappie tournaments on Choke Canyon. And I never went with him on one of those, because my brother went fishing with him several times. I never did. And shoot, I didn't get really back into fishing until like 1991 or something like that. Had some friends that liked to bass fish, and I didn't know anything about bass fishing. So they took me to this real ritzy neighborhood, and in the middle of this neighborhood they had this, I'd say it's probably about a 5-acre, maybe 10-acre tank, fishing pond, whatever you guys call them. And it was full of bass and catfish. And so for a place to learn how to catch bass, and that was almost like shooting ducks in a bucket. But that's where I learned. And I got hooked on it. And I decided that I was going to buy myself a boat. I didn't want a little bitty aluminum boat. I mean, we have a local lake here that used to rent them, and we would go and rent those boats. And, a couple big guys in a little bitty boat. Don't rock the boat, baby, I tell you. And I didn't want a little boat. So I went ahead and decided if I was going to get a boat, might as well start out with, I don't know, more of not a professional boat, but I bought an 18-foot Eptide Dynatrac with a Johnson 140. And that thing was fun. 1978 model. It was in really, really good shape. but it rode like a brick. It was a fiberglass boat. It just didn't, it had a little bit of a V-hole in the front, but man, in the rough water, it would take your spine up in the bottom of your skull. But that's how I got started bass fishing. And we went all over the place. In Texas anyway. Mostly on our little local lakes around town. Entered maybe one or two little bass tournaments. Never did any good. We mostly just fished for fun. And then a deal came up where I bought another boat. It was a 95 Skeeter. Had a little 18-foot. There was a 19-footer. And it had a Johnson 150 on it. That was a good, nice boat. That was a really nice boat, too. Better riding than my other one, for sure. And handled really great. I ran that for years and years and years. My gosh. Then I wanted a big boy boat. I saved up my money and talked to my ex-wife. Well, my wife at the time. She goes, well, what do you want? Do you want a new car or a boat? I said, I want a boat. So I bought a 2001 Triton TR22 with a VMAX Yamaha 225 horse 2-stroke. Real sparkly boat. And that was fun. You know, it would run in the low 70s. You know, 70 miles an hour on the waters. For me, anyway, that was insane. And it went fast, so I liked fast. So I went all over the place with that boat. I probably told you all the story before already in one of my other little rants, I guess, that we did enter a bass tournament and we won a boat. So that was fun. That was the highlight of all of my fishing stuff that I'd ever done. And I didn't really fish tournaments. It was just, we were lucky, man. We were in the right place at the right time and won a boat. Another $1,000 for having the biggest fish. And then I hurt my back in 2013, I think. And my sciatic nerve issues, and it really made it hard for me to fish. Stand up all day on the front deck of that boat and run the trolling motor and anything that had to do with fishing. Trying to keep in your balance with your sciatic nerve going off on you. So I kind of gave that up. Now it's for sale. And I just went back to more camping and hunting and stuff like that. Anyway, I had my fishing time. I love the freshwater fish. I love to go down to the Gulf and fish the bays. I've been deep sea fishing on some of these party boats way out in the Gulf. You know, go about 3.5 hours out and catching all kinds of red snapper, kingfish, sharks, whatever's biting out there at the time. I loved it. And I still like it. Just kind of hurts to do it now. I can sit on the bank. Sit in the chair and be boatless bank trash. I don't mind that. Except I got a boat. Anyway. I don't know what's next. Well, we're doing a lot of hunting now. And a lot of camping. We're going to, for Mother's Day weekend, we are going to West Frio Ranch on the Frio River. It's a little RV park. Really nice. We went last year. I'll probably make a video out there, but they have a Mother's Day crawfish festival. And that was a lot of fun, even though I don't really care for crawfish, but yeah, it's the experience, and they've got live music. Yeah. Better than sitting at home.